Welcome to this explainer. Today, we are going to tear into three absolute monsters, ultra-exclusive, heavily modified, Mansory-tuned machines. Look, these are definitely not your everyday luxury cars. We're talking about vehicles engineered for extreme performance, neck-snapping attention, and the kind of handcrafted luxury that pushes the absolute boundaries of what's possible on four wheels. I mean, when you factor in the sheer cost of a Mansory tune, which, often tax on hundreds of thousands of dollars to an already astronomical base price, you quickly realize this is a tier of exclusivity reserved for the absolute top fraction of a percent. If you've ever wondered how the ultra-elite customize their rides to match their exact tastes and insane power demands, well, you're in exactly the right place. Let's get into it.
Okay, here's the game plan for today. We're essentially looking at a heavyweight title fight between three totally distinct automotive archetypes. We'll start with an overview of Mansory's apex sedans, break down the high-tech beast that is the S680, move over to the Phantom as the ultimate status symbol, shift to the driver-focused Flying Spur, and then wrap it all up with our final verdict.
Section 1. Mansory's Apex Luxury Sedans. Let's set the baseline. To really understand this comparison, we have to look at what we're starting with. And to be clear, these aren't just normal luxury sedans with some aftermarket badges glued to the trunk. They are highly aggressive statements of extreme wealth. Every single one of these targets incredibly wealthy buyers, and we're looking at a baseline of just massive power across the board. We're talking monstrous V12s and W12s, pushing well north of 600 horsepower across the Maybach, Rolls-Royce, and Bentley platforms. But, raw horsepower and displacement, they only tell a tiny fraction of the story. You really can't capture a car's soul on a piece of paper. So this explainer is really about uncovering the distinct personalities hiding behind those crazy numbers.
Moving to Section 2, the S680, our high-tech luxury beast.
Let's look at our very first contender, the Mercedes-Maybach-based Mansory S680. Honestly, you can think of this thing as the modern, high-tech beast of the group. Mansory takes an already incredibly luxurious Maybach and just injects it with wild carbon fiber styling, totally bespoke interiors, and massive power upgrades. The end result? A jaw-dropping 1,000 Newton-meters of torque. To put that into perspective for you, that is the kind of twisting force you usually only see in heavy-duty semi-trucks. It literally means that despite all its weight and massive luxury features, this car launches like a high-tech land missile. Just brutal, effortless acceleration right on demand. Where this machine really shines is that it essentially gives you two cars in one. It is without a doubt the fastest-feeling daily driver among our trio. In the back, it's basically a mobile boardroom. You've got ridiculous chauffeur-driven comfort, incredibly advanced driver assistance, and ambient tech that practically reads your mind. But then, up front, the advanced all-wheel drive system aggressively grips the pavement. It lets you safely unleash that monstrous V12 on a normal daily commute. So you get this crazy duality: limousine serenity one second, heart-pounding capability the next.
But hey, extreme tuning brings extreme trade-offs, right? Mansory's aggressive carbon fiber styling is super polarizing. It definitely leans hard into show-off territory, which can frankly look a bit excessive next to its rivals. Inside, yeah, the tech is amazing, but it can also feel a bit like piloting a spaceship. It's totally overloaded with screens and glowing lights, which definitely won't be for the traditionalists out there. Plus, in the ultra-luxury world, the Mercedes badge, even if it says Maybach, just holds a little less inherent prestige than a Rolls-Royce. And honestly, we can't ignore the elephant in the room, the financial hit. The extreme depreciation and the insane repair bills for a modified Maybach could literally rival the price of a small house.
So, the takeaway here is pretty straightforward. You buy the S680 if you want the ultimate mashup of futuristic tech and sports car speed. It is custom-made for the modern CEO who loves the back seat but still wants to ditch the chauffeur on weekends to feel that brutal acceleration. But if you're someone who values timeless, understated elegance, or if watching a car plummet in value makes you sick to your stomach, definitely look elsewhere. This car is unapologetically flashy. All right, Section 3, the Phantom, the ultimate status symbol. Now we're shifting gears completely for our second contender. If the S680 was all about high-tech speed, the Rolls-Royce-based Mansory Phantom is purely about grand, regal prestige. This is rolling automotive royalty. It doesn't care about cornering speeds. It's all about making a statement. Under the hood sits a massive 6.75-liter V12 twin-turbo. But here's the catch. This powertrain isn't tuned to rip you away from a stoplight. Instead, it's meticulously engineered to deliver this endless, silent wave of torque. It's designed to completely silence the outside world and move with an effortless glide.
The Phantom really exists in its own universe when it comes to ride comfort. The handcrafted interior quality is just absurd. They prioritize absolute isolation and supreme material quality way over digital screens. We're talking thick lambswool floor mats, the iconic Starlight headliner, perfectly book-matched wood veneers. It makes the rear seat arguably the most luxurious space on Earth. And then there's the presence. Nothing else has the sheer gravitational pull or the timeless prestige of a Rolls-Royce. Pulling up in a Mansory Phantom isn't just arriving somewhere. It's a literal event.
On the flip side, it is a boat. Its massive footprint makes city driving or tight parking lots feel a bit like captaining a cruise ship through a canal, and it has exactly zero sporty intentions. If you try to aggressively throw this heavy machine into a tight corner, it's going to firmly protest. It's also rear-wheel drive, meaning you've got less traction in bad weather compared to the all-wheel drive setups on the other two. Finally, a lot of purists will argue that Mansory's aggressive add-ons, like the forged carbon splitters and side skirts, actually clash with and kind of ruin the Phantom's classic, understated elegance.
Here's the verdict on the Phantom. You choose this rolling palace if prestige is literally your only metric, and you plan on being chauffeur-driven 99% of the time. You buy it for unmatched comfort and a handcrafted feel. But absolutely avoid it if you care about driving dynamics, if you like driving aggressively yourself, or if you just want a subtle, easy-to-park vehicle.
Moving on to Section 4, the Flying Spur, the driver's sedan.
Let's inject some adrenaline back into this explainer with our third contender, the Bentley-based Mansory Flying Spur. This car sits perfectly in the middle, right between the high-tech Maybach and the Royal Rolls-Royce. It actively tries to balance opulent luxury with genuine, enthusiastic performance. The whole personality of this car is defined by its beating heart, a highly unique 6.0-liter W12 twin-turbo pushing over 700 horsepower. Unlike those traditional V12s we just talked about, this complex W12 delivers a super emotional, character-filled, and remarkably sporty driving experience. Thanks to a slightly smaller footprint and a brilliantly tuned chassis, the Flying Spur is hands down the most engaging car of the bunch to drive. It somehow marries heavy, opulent luxury with a truly athletic personality. Its all-wheel drive system gives you so much confidence to push the limits. It actually begs you to drive it hard on a twisting back road. It definitely boasts the absolute best handling of the trio, blending pure elegance with a very aggressive edge. But, there's always a catch. If you are a passenger in the back, the luxury is great, but it simply cannot touch the unmatched opulence of the Phantom. Up front, the interior tech feels a full generation older than that digital command center in the S680. And practically speaking, get ready for terrifying maintenance costs. Servicing a complex Bentley W12 is no joke, and the fuel economy is truly abysmal. And much like the Phantom, plenty of critics will tell you that Mansory's loud exterior kits take away from the classic Bentley charm. So who actually buys the Flying Spur? Well, it is unequivocally the enthusiast choice. If you love driving yourself and you want an emotional connection to the road that favors handling over pure limousine softness, this is your winner. But skip it if your top priority is a whisper quiet cabin, maximum rear legroom, or that absolute highest tier of old-world prestige.
And that brings us to Section 5, the final verdict. Let's see how they stack up.
After breaking down these three incredibly distinct personalities, the high-tech beast, the ultimate status symbol, and the driver's sedan, it is time to match the specific lifestyle to the perfect machine. Let's bring it all together. If your only metric is the absolute best luxury experience, the Phantom is the undisputed heavyweight champion. If you want the best daily usability that blends modern tech with explosive power, the S680 wins without a sweat. And for the best driving experience, the Flying Spur is totally unmatched here.
Ultimately, all three of these vehicles are extraordinary feats of engineering and crazy custom design, but they definitely serve completely different masters. It really boils down to this. The Phantom is for kings, the S680 is for modern tech billionaires, and the Flying Spur? That's strictly for wealthy driving enthusiasts.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I've got to ask you to put yourself in those extremely expensive shoes for a second. If you had the limitless means to choose just one of these extreme automotive personalities to park in your garage, which ultra-luxury lifestyle would you embrace? Are you the king, the modern billionaire, or the driving enthusiast? Think about it and keep exploring.